Dear family, friends, community members, and the Jewish community at large, this past Shabbat we lost a dear friend, a rabbi, a mentor, someone has changed the face of Judaism around the world, Rabbi Sholom Lipskar in Bal Harbour, Florida. It's been several days of mourning, and we know it says in the Talmud, the Rambam says, that there's 3 days for crying, and afterwards 7 days for eulogizing. Now obviously we know in the world of Chabad there's no such thing as a eulogy, but the Rebbe taught us something very, very powerful and important after the Rebbetzin passed away, and he said, "V'hachai yitena liboy." The giving, based on what it says in Kohelet, that it's better to go to a house of mourning than to a house of rejoicing, because over there the living can learn a lesson how to live and how to live a better life. So I'd like to share with you a little bit my experience with Rabbi Lipskar, a family member, a friend, a mentor. So when I was in yeshiva, we were always enamored by Rabbi Lipskar. He was the teacher par excellence. He was able to bring deep ideas of Kabbalah, mysticism, the Rebbe's teaching into beautiful practical lessons and engage great audiences. And in those days, he would have his famous Tuesday night class. It's before the internet with YouTube, and you have to get the cassettes from his classes, listen to it, the way he really presented the Rebbe's teaching in a beautiful manner. And at that time in yeshiva, I was learning in 770, I was approached by Rabbi Lipskar, and he said he wants to open up a yeshiva, and he's looking for someone to lead the yeshiva. And I said, great, I would love to run a yeshiva. But there was one catch: the yeshiva was in prison. He had a dream, he wanted to open up a yeshiva in prison. He was going to start a pilot project, it was going to be in the summer. And I said, sure, I'll go for it. And we went, myself and another colleague, we went down to Miami for the summer. He put us up in a hotel, he gave us food, a car, and every single day we went to run a yeshiva in Miami in prison. It was a powerful experience, going every single day, going behind bars. We went voluntarily into prison, but we taught people, brilliant, smart people, Mishnah, Talmud, Chumash, Jewish philosophy. It involved courses, and it was a very, very powerful experience, and it taught me, Rabbi Lipskar, there's no limits. You think of a yeshiva for rabbinical students, but guess what? Someone that's in prison can also go to yeshiva. Because of that opportunity, so on Shabbat, we would spend Shabbat with him and his Rebbetzin in his beautiful home, his warm home, and it was really, really an experience. We farbrenged a lot together, and later on, actually, when I went in Shluchas here in Fort Myers, I brought him out to be my first guest speaker at my first dinner in someone's house. People loved him. He was amazing. When we built our building, we went to speak to him, to consult with him, and his advice was, whatever you're planning on building, build it twice as big, because you got to think big. He had this tremendous way of thinking. But I want to share with you a very, very powerful farbrengen that we had with him, and this is before he actually built the famous shul of Bal Harbour. This is when he still had the shul in the basement of the hotel, and it was Shabbos afternoon. We were farbrengen there, and we were intrigued by how he present ideas in Judaism. But he was a big dreamer. And at that time, he was telling us about the dream about this big synagogue he's going to build on Collins Avenue in Bal Harbour, and places for youth and adults, and places to eat, and places to celebrate. And look, it all came true. He built this phenomenal synagogue with there's places to Harding Avenue, all thanks to him, all different restaurants and all different grocery stores, and it became a haven of Judaism. But one thing happened in that farbrengen, and Rabbi Lipskar turned to us and he said as follows: you're rabbinical students. You're students of the Rebbe. You're representing the Rebbe. So if you're representing the Rebbe, every single day when you meet somebody, you need to have a fresh Dvar Torah to share with the people you meet. And it took us in a very, very deep, profound way. And ever since then, every single day we would learn maybe a sicha, a talk from the Rebbe, from a Chassidic discourse, any other idea that if you meet someone, you can share something inspiring. And this way, you become someone that grows in the Rebbe's teachings, and whoever you meet, you inspire them to grow. Thanks to that, I expanded it. We teach actually a lot of classes on YouTube, the Parsha classes, Tanya classes, and the Rebbe's mysticism. And what's really, really interesting is, and a bit emotional, the last time I met Rabbi Lipskar in person was just around a year and a half ago approximately. We both went to Tallahassee to the Governor DeSantis' mansion for the Hanukkah event. I flew in from Fort Myers, he flew from Miami. We both came by private plane into the private airport. We both landed more or less the same time together. We went to the event, and then when we were leaving, we were saying goodbye to each other, and Lipskar turns to me and tells me, I love the fact that you're continuing to teach Torah. I watch and I see your classes, and I'm so proud of you. Wow, I was so touched of a bringing we had maybe 35, 38 years ago, where he inspired me to teach, and he still recognized and he followed the fact that I was listening to him, I was inspired by him to teach. So as the Rebbe says, "V'achai yitein liboy," there's so much you can learn from Rabbi Lipskar. The way he did things over the top. He was a dreamer. He did things no one else would have thought of doing. Today, Aleph is huge. How much they do in the prison system, what Bal Harbor community. But I think we can learn from Rabbi Lipskar, whether it's learning a thought from the Rebbe and teaching it to someone else, doing something big, building something big, doing something that you weren't ready to do, going over the top, breaking certain boundaries. That will be a real v'hachai yitein liboy, and the spirit of Rabbi Lipskar will continue to live on. With us expanding our learning Torah, teaching Torah, inspiring someone else to do another mitzvah, put on tefillin, or whatever it may be, to bring simcha, to bring joy. Rabbi Lipskar, we miss you, and we can't wait to be reunited. Like it says, "Ve'kitzu v'ranu shoichni afar v'hu b'soicham." We're going to all be reunited. As we all know, Rabbi Lipskar had a tremendous passion for inspiring people to be motivated and excited about the coming of Mashiach. And let's hope Mashiach comes very, very soon. We'll all be reunited together with Rabbi Lipskar and with the Rebbe with the coming of Mashiach.